For most of human history, wolves weren't companions. They were something to fear. If you lived 30,000 years ago, the sound of wolves at night meant real danger. You were slower, weaker-nosed, and surrounded by predators built to hunt in the dark, far better than you were. Wolves moved in coordinated packs, with jaws and endurance built for exactly this. And yet, out of every animal on the planet, wolves are the one that ended up sleeping in our houses. Not horses, not cattle, wolves. Today, there are somewhere north of 900 million dogs on Earth, and not one of them was the result of a deliberate plan. Nobody sat down 20,000 years ago and decided to invent a fluffy companion animal. Dogs happen by accident, and some researchers now think wolves may have started the process themselves before humans ever noticed. Picture the world 20,000 to 40,000 years ago. Small hunter-gatherer bands, maybe 20 to 50 people, moved constantly across harsh terrain. Failed hunts were routine. Winters were often lethal. And at the edge of every human camp, just past the firelight, wolves were watching. Humans are messy eaters even during hard times. Bones, hide scraps, half-finished carcasses were left behind constantly. To a wolf, a human camp looked like a standing buffet. The boldest wolves crept closer first. The genuinely aggressive ones usually ended up speared. The ones too fearful to approach got nothing at all. But somewhere inside those wolf populations, a smaller, calmer, more curious personality type existed, and it turned out to have a real survival edge. These wolves didn't need to risk injury chasing dangerous prey. They could simply trail a human group and live off the leftovers. Generation after generation, this quietly filtered the population. Friendlier wolves ate more reliably. Calmer wolves stuck closer to people, and the most aggressive individuals were selected against, sometimes violently. This sounds almost too tidy to be real, but there's a documented experiment that shows exactly this process happening on a human timescale. In 1959, Soviet geneticist Dmitri Belyaev began a long-running fox breeding project in Siberia, built around one single rule. Each generation, only the calmest, least fearful foxes were allowed to breed. No training, no trick teaching, just relentless selection for tameness. Within a few decades, those foxes were behaving unmistakably like dogs, wagging tails, seeking attention, licking hands. And their bodies changed too, without anyone selecting for appearance at all. Floppy ears appeared, snouts shortened, patches of white fur showed up, tails curled. This wasn't coincidence. Tameness and physical softening appeared to be genetically linked traits across many species. So selecting against aggression quietly drags a whole set of cuter, less intimidating features along with it. That means the earliest proto-dogs likely looked slightly different from ordinary wolves, well before any human intentionally bred them for looks. Smaller, calmer looking, a little less threatening, without anyone planning it. And this almost certainly wasn't a single isolated event. Similar wolf-human relationships were likely forming independently across large stretches of the ancient world around the same time, unfolding slowly enough that no single person alive at the time could have noticed evolution happening beside their own campfire. Once wolves started lingering nearer to camp, the practical benefits became obvious fast. Wolves hear better, smell better, and track prey more effectively than humans ever could. A wolf near camp functioned as a living early warning system, reacting first to an approaching bear, noticing strangers before anyone else did, helping locate nearby game. Once both species were clearly benefiting, the relationship accelerated. This is a major reason dogs are considered humanity's first domesticated animal, arriving well before sheep, goats, or farming itself. Later, when agriculture spread and human diets shifted heavily toward grain, dogs evolved right alongside us again, developing a notably better ability to digest starch than wolves retain to this day. The emotional side of this bond runs deeper than most people realize. When a human and a dog make eye contact, both species release oxytocin, the same bonding hormone involved in the connection between parents and infants. Wolves don't naturally trigger this response with humans. Dogs do. That loving stare from a dog isn't a random quirk. It's a genuinely evolved trait, one that likely got reinforced because humans instinctively cared more for animals that looked emotionally expressive back at them. Some researchers argue dogs improved hunting success dramatically enough that early human groups with dogs simply outcompeted groups without them, potentially helping our species spread further and faster. That partnership came with real costs, though. Intensive selective breeding over the last few centuries in particular has left many modern breeds with serious inherited health problems: flattened faces that make breathing difficult, elongated spines prone to injury, birth complications severe enough to require surgical intervention. And underneath all of that engineering, wolf instincts still surface constantly, circling before lying down, the reflex to bury food, howling, twitching through dream sleep. Every small dog and every working breed still carries a faint outline of an Ice Age predator inside it. Maybe that's what separates dogs from every other domesticated animal. Cattle tolerate humans. Cats coexist with humans. Horses labor alongside humans. Dogs, though, actually joined us, sleeping beside us while real predators circled beyond the firelight, crossing frozen landscapes at our side, guarding sleeping camps, following people into migrations and unfamiliar continents. In Germany, archaeologists uncovered a roughly 14,000-year-old grave containing a man, a woman, and a dog, buried carefully alongside them. That dog had suffered a serious illness as a puppy, but survived for weeks or months afterward, evidence that someone had deliberately nursed it back to health. In an era where every scrap of food and every hour of effort mattered for basic survival, someone spent both on a sick animal anyway. That isn't simple usefulness. That's something closer to attachment. Across thousands of generations, humans and dogs shaped each other's survival, all beginning with a handful of wolves that happened to be slightly less afraid of firelight than the rest of their pack. No master plan, no single moment of invention. Just leftover scraps, a cautious animal edging closer through the dark, and evolution quietly turning fear into one of the oldest partnerships our species has ever formed. Tonight, somewhere near you, a dog is probably about to fall asleep without any idea that this friendship started tens of thousands of years ago. Now you do.